Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is MadridisaFitz here talking about Real Madrid. Thank you to my loyal 2 subscribers and growing, even you Barcelona fans that watch the channel. I really appreciate it. And hey, buddy, my son has a special message to all Barcelona fans. Hey, what do we say to Barcelona fans?
Cry, little baby.
That is right. Cry, little babies, cry. You can have your Mickey Mouse trophies. That's fine. We become a laughing stock in Spanish football, and it mostly has to do with what I'm talking about today, the Mbappe problem. We have a significant Kylian Mbappe problem. This man, I don't know, it's new lows with him every week. I cannot describe how much torment he's bringing into my life. He's single-handedly raising my blood pressure. I may have to go on medication. The more articles that are coming out about this cat, he's absolutely driving me insane. There's one thing about disrupting the balance of the team, which I certainly think he has done that. There is no cohesion with him playing up top at striker. He's not meant to play that position. Partially his fault for not adapting his game, but really he's just a fish out of water. He's a left winger or even a right winger. He needs to be on the wing. He's terrible up top. He's disrupting the balance of our team. Now there's one thing to be said about playing poorly and disrupting the balance of the team on the field. It's a completely different thing if you are disrupting the balance of the locker room and if you're being a crappy teammate. And there's an article coming out today that there's no surprise, a rift going on in the locker room. I'm just going to read what's been written. I guess this came out today. There's a report. Kylian Mbappe is reportedly very angry with the current situation at Real Madrid. He has had private discussions with several teammates. I would love to know who these teammates are regarding the matter, as he believes certain players in the squad have ruined the season. Ruined the season? For who ruined the season, Kylian Mbappe? What players? Maybe if you did your damn job and stayed in the middle of the field, we could have scored more goals. Or maybe if you put a little bit of effort tracking back or put a little bit more pressure up top, we could have won a few of these games. I think before you go pointing the blame, this is with any job, any walk of life, any relationship that you're in, whether it be a business relationship, your own relationship with your wife, spouse, boyfriend, whatever. If you're Lamine Yamal, your relationship with a midget, or with Kylian Mbappe, your relationship with a tranny, because he's reportedly been hooking up with those people. Maybe that's what he's been doing in Monaco. Sorry, I live close to a naval base, and there's planes flying over all the time, but in any relationship, before you go placing the blame on someone else, take a look at your actions and see if you may be the problem. Because I think if Kylian Mbappe really looked at his actions over the last 2 years, I think the problem is you looking in the mirror. The man in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said, you may be the problem, bro. This team won the Champions League 2 years ago. This team won La Liga. This team was on top of the world. We had a lot of really good young players. Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, they both were Ballon d'Or finalists. Since you have arrived, we have been absolute dog shit. And your former team is on top of the football world. These things do not add up. It does not make any sense. It's an absolute madness with this guy. So I don't know what players he's calling out or what players are not up to your standard, but this is the dictator Mbappe himself. It's a madness each week with this guy. Also, which I do like in this report, is it said Jude Bellingham is reportedly one of the players Mbappe has clashed with. The tension stems from Bellingham being one of the few players who has dared to question Mbappe's recent poor performances. He should. This team was kind of on a roll before the international break. We had just beaten Man City's ass per usual in the Champions League. We had won, I believe, 5 games in a row going into the international break. We were on form, and guess who wasn't playing? Mbappe. Mbappe was not playing. He was gone. And now you come back from the international break, and we drop stinker after stinker after stinker, get booted from the Champions League, lose what little hope we had in La Liga. The title race has been over for a while, but Mbappe coming back didn't help that. It's crazy, and I'm glad Jude Bellingham, he should step up. Jude Bellingham has delivered more in his pinky finger for this club and has worn the shirt with pride than Kylian Mbappe has done his entire time at Real Madrid. What has this dude done besides score some goals? I will say I saw his goal scoring record is quite good. He's played 100 games for Real Madrid. There's only a few players, including Cristiano Ronaldo, Di Stefano, I believe, was the only other two people in Real Madrid's history that have scored more goals than this guy. But besides goals, this guy doesn't bring anything else to the team. He scored 85 in 100 games, which is great, but this dude is so selfish on the field, will not make central runs, will not set up players. In that period of time, that 100-game time, he only has 10 assists in 100 games. I don't expect my striker to be an elite assist maker, but that just shows me he doesn't have, there's not a lot of teamwork, or there's not a lot of setup play from him. There's not very much link-up play between him dumping the ball off to his wingers, particularly Vinny Jr., because this man likes to hang out on the wings, drive the ball in by himself, and shoot by himself. That's how he scores most of his goals. He rarely scores a tap-in. The most important goal in football, the goal that everyone shit on Cristiano Ronaldo for doing, is perhaps the hardest goal to score, because you have to be in the right position. You have to have stuff up here. You have to have a football IQ, and his IQ is absolute dog shit, especially if he's calling out other players on our team. You have no room to do this. You have not won anything for Real Madrid. We've got 0 La Ligas, 0 Champions Leagues, 0 Copa del Reys. We won some Mickey Mouse. We won a Barcelona trophy last year. I want a Champions League. I want to shut up these barking Barcelona fans. I'm tired of hearing their gums flap over and over and over again. And it all started when you came to this club. Shit, man. Other aspects of this report that I'm just going to go over briefly is, I guess, Mbappe reports indicate that following poor team results, including a loss to, this is all, but Benfica, Bellingham confronted Mbappe regarding his attitude and performance. There's been mutual frustration, while Mbappe has reportedly blamed certain teammates for ruining the season. Bellingham is described as frustrated with his own form and feeling overshadowed and upset by a lack of effort from the Frenchman. He has overshadowed. Everyone on this team has been overshadowed by Kylian Mbappe. Jude Bellingham's had to completely change his game to accommodate for this guy. Jude Bellingham is no longer making these runs into the box like he used to, because he has to cover for both Vinny Jr. and Mbappe, just never tracking back on defense. He's had to play more box to box. That's fine, but we need Jude Bellingham is capable of scoring. I'd like to see him with a little more freedom going into the box. So he should be frustrated a little bit with his own form. He's been a little nicked up this year as well. But, man, I don't think Mbappe has any room to criticize any of these players. I've also read that there's a rift forming within the locker room. I don't have the exact article. I heard this on another one of the football players' podcasts, Carnage. He talked about this today, and shout out to him. He has a great YouTube channel. He kind of inspired me to start this YouTube channel. So big hats to you. You're better than I'll ever be at this. I consider this the 10th or 11th best YouTube channel for Real Madrid. But he was even saying there's a rift in the locker room between Vinny and Mbappe, and Mbappe is feeling more and more isolated because people are taking Vinny's side. Why wouldn't they take Vinny's side? Vinny is arguably already he's I believe 26 years old, 25 years old. He's already a club legend here. He's already won 2 Champions Leagues, and he has as many goals and assists in Champions League finals, as my son, as the mighty Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, we got another Barcelona fans.
Cry with a butt.
Yeah, cry babies. That's right, cry little babies.
Cry with a butt.
So, if you are a player on this Real Madrid team, why would you side with Mbappe? He's just such a problem. I've called this the Mbooty problem. I don't know what we're going to do with this guy. It's a madness. I really, in my heart of hearts, I don't see either Vinny or Mbappe leaving. I think Florentino Perez is so obsessed with Mbappe. He was doing a dance around Real Madrid for years just to raise his contract and his salary over in PSG. Now that Florentino Perez finally got with the girl, the Mbooty, he finally got that booty, and now he doesn't want to let it go. I'm sure Mbappe is selling shirts and all that, but he's not bringing results to Real Madrid, and it's an absolute madness and a shit show. So I do not see Mr. Florentino Perez letting this man go. I also see Vinny Jr. coming back we would not want him to go to one of our rivals. He's a very good footballer. I think really offloading one of these two would really clear up, this team, because Mbappe needs to play on a wing. If we're going to keep him, he has to play on the left or right wing. He cannot keep playing center forward, or we will go back to back to back trophyless seasons, and I do not want that to happen. I don't know if I can handle any more of this Barcelona fan bullshit. But I don't see either one of these players leaving. I personally don't care who leaves, but now I'm leaning towards Mbappe. If he's going to be a problem in the locker room, he needs to get the hell out of my team. I don't have any loyalty to you. You have not delivered anything but pain and sorrow into my life. So get out of my club. And I just want to do a reference real quick it's from Jurassic Park. This really should have been someone within this organization. I got caught up in the Mbappe transfer too. We just won the Champions League. I thought him coming into our club would just be icing on the cake. We would be literally invincible. I didn't think of this. And here's a quote from Jurassic Park. You were so preoccupied with whether or not they could. They didn't stop to think they should. That's the whole thing. We were thinking we can pull this transfer off with PSG. We have the means, we have the financial capabilities of doing it, but we didn't think to ourselves, should we actually do this? How much will it disrupt the balance of the team? How much will it destroy Vinny's game? How much will it destroy Jude Bellingham's game? I don't know. It's a madness. We should have really thunk this through before we ended up signing this guy. There were plenty other guys we could have got. I think a Harry Kane would have been incredible replacement 2 years ago for Benzema, because the guy not only is great at finishing, he makes everyone else around him better. Watching him play for Bayern Munich, his performances between Mbappe's performances were like night and day. He was making passes. He's not going to burn players with pace and speed like Mbappe, but he was making passes. He was playing with his wingers. He was in the right position. He collected the ball in the box, had a great touch, scored a goal. This is a player we could have got. We weren't thinking this one through. I think everyone was enamored with the power and the name of Kylian Mbappe and his World Cup performances. But ever since he's came on this team, it's been absolute shit. It is a nightmare over and over again. So in conclusion, tying up this video, this last slide right here, in my opinion, who's the most powerful dictator in the world, Mbappe or Genghis Khan? It's hard to call, but in my opinion, Mbappe's got to change or he has to go. This man needs to wake up and realize he's playing for freaking Real Madrid. There's no higher level of soccer than Real Madrid. As much as these Barcelona clowns will never admit it, there's one team that's the pinnacle of football. There's one team that every kid growing up wants to play for, because there's nowhere up. There's nowhere above Real Madrid. Once you've reached Real Madrid, you've reached the top. Anywhere else is a downgrade. Look at our accolades. We have the most Spanish La Liga titles, which is a Mickey Mouse trophy in my opinion. We have the most European championships by a long stretch. Our closest rivals in Spain, Barcelona, have 5. We've accumulated 6 of those puppies in the last 10 years. Some of the players on our team currently, including Vinny and Courtois, they have 2 Champions League titles. This is almost half as many as Barcelona. Before Luka Modric and Toni Kroos left, and Benzema, those guys had accumulated 5 of those bad boys. That's as many as Barcelona has in their entire existence. This is the pinnacle of football. Mbappe has to realize you have arrived. This is the place where you can really set your legacy. This is the top. You should be winning Ballon d'Ors. You should be focused on trying to win everything, because we can win championships. We've proven it that we can win Champions Leagues at Real Madrid. What you have to be willing to do in order to win those is you have to sacrifice. You have to change your game in order to become a part of this team. Benzema did this for years. He could have been trying to bang in goals. He could have been going for individual glory, but he sacrificed his game and became a setup man to Cristiano Ronaldo in particular, but also Gareth Bale. I would suggest if he is going to stay in this team, he needs to be willing to, if they keep Vinny and himself, he needs to be willing to either go out on the right, or if he refuses to go out on the right, he needs to change his game to become a striker. No more of this nonsense of hanging out on the left. No more of this nonsense of dropping deep. You are not a deep-lying playmaker. You don't have that in your bag to make these passes, to break down lines. We need you to either get the hell out of the club, change your style of play to become a traditional forward, or go to the right. If those things aren't going to happen, he really needs to go. I don't know if he can talk to his agent. If you're that deeply unhappy, my dude, just get out of the club. Honestly, it's shameful for what you're doing to this club. We don't need you. This is Real Madrid. You need us, Kylian Mbappe. You can cement your legacy as one of the greatest footballers of all time playing for Real Madrid. But right now, you're cementing your legacy as the player that single-handedly tanked the greatest football team ever in Real Madrid. You don't want to be known as that guy. Please change your ways, my man. You have a lot of talent. I could never be half the football player that you are. But if I had the opportunity to suit up for Real Madrid, I would do whatever the coaches wanted me to. If they told me to chop off my left arm just so I could run out there, I probably would consider it, as long as it was my left arm and not my right arm, because I write with my right arm. I could probably get away with playing with just the right arm and lopping off my left arm. It wouldn't be a big deal. See, I don't even have it right now. I would be willing to do that for Real Madrid. This is the mindset that Kylian Mbappe needs to get into, or he should go. I'm going to do a video here soon about coaches that they should bring in, but I really think it's looking like one option that can set these players straight, especially if Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, he might even have a little bit of an ego, but I'm glad he stood up to the dictator himself. I believe there's only one man, and I'll get into this in a different video, but it's Jose Mourinho. He comes in here, he's not going to take any shit from these players. These players will be afraid of him. And truly, I believe that he will not be afraid to drop a player if he's not listening to Mourinho and his instructions before the game or during halftime, or if they're not practicing hard, or if they're not keeping a high standard, or if they're just, not training and keeping in shape or getting their bodies right for games. I think Jose Mourinho is really the fit for this team, and I'll go over that in another video, but I'll just wrap it up with this. I'm ashamed of you, Kylian Mbappe. There's one thing about disrupting the balance of the team and playing like shit. I hope your hamstring gets better. He's also out with an injury for the foreseeable future. We'll see how this team plays without him. Surely they'll play better, but I hope your hamstring gets better. But my God, dude, change your ways, because this is just new lows every day. And now that you're becoming a locker room problem, I think it might be time for you to go. Reassess your life. If you need to go back to Monaco and sleep with a few trannies to get yourself and get your mind right, go ahead and do that, my dude. We have an Mbappe problem, and it's really pissing me off. Hala Madrid, as always. Puta Barca. Cry babies cry. See you later.